So for this video, we're going to be working mostly on our backs, and you will just need this little strap, and I think that's it. If you don't have the strap, you don't need it for, anything we're doing in this video, you can do without the strap, so then just get one when you can. But let's start out lying on your back. We'll start with the knees bent and the hands, palms down alongside the body. Just take a moment, getting kind of heavy on your mat, taking the time to come into your body and just like acknowledging that you have carved out this space for yourself, this time to work on yourself, and as much as you can, giving that to yourself fully. Let's take a big inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. One more big opening, expanding inhale. And an exhale to release. Let's grab knees, hug them into the chest, and just for a couple of breaths, take some circles one way. Trying, if you can, to match your movement with your breath, staying with intentional breaths, big opening, expanding inhales, and contracting, hugging in exhales that allow you to release, switching the direction of your circles. And of course, today's the day the neighbors have decided to build the road next door, so got some construction background noise. But feel free to throw on some music. Right, one more circle this way. And I'll hug the knees into the chest one more time. And then let's send the legs long. And as you do that, we can also lengthen arms up and overhead. And then we'll take an inhale, lifting your chest, lifting your heart, even arching your low back, lifting the small of your back off of the mat. Big inhale here. With an exhale, I want you to draw your belly button back towards your spine as you draw your upper ribs down towards the tips of your hips. So you're closing that space, ribs to the top of your hips. And as you do that, you can also cactus the arms. Let's use an inhale, opposite movement. So opening your belly, lifting your spine, lengthening your arms. Exhale, contracting your belly, hugging belly button back to the spine, pressing your back into the mat, giving that big hug of ribs to hips. And inhale, lengthen, open, loosening up the skin of your belly as you stretch it. Exhale, contracting, really like your belly button is I'm going to say a nail into the floor, but that's not really the imagery you want here. But pressing your belly button almost through the skin of your stomach into the floor. One more like that. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, belly button hugs to the spine. Whole of the low back presses into the mat. And then this time we're going to stay here. So low back pressing into the mat without holding your breath. Let's sweep the arms so hands come palms down alongside your body. And then let's bend the knees. Take a moment to re-spread your whole spine onto the mat and lengthening. Keep that hug, top, bottom of the ribs, hugging down to the top of your hips. And then let's lift the knees so that the knees come right over your hips. From here, let's Lengthen one leg out. So let's start with the right leg, lengthening that out as you slide your fingertips down the mat. Inhale, everything comes back, head, neck, and shoulders release. Exhale, other side. So left leg lengthens as you sit up. Belly button stays pressed to the spine. Inhale all the way down and exhale to lift. Inhale down, rest the head for a moment. Exhale, lift. Let's do 2 more on each side. So exhale to lift. Inhale, lengthening down. Exhale to lift. Inhale down. One more each side. Steady and slow. And last time on this side. And then let's take a moment, knees hugged into the chest, little rock side to side. Let's take, again, knees right over the hips. This time we'll take your fingers to the back of your skull, and then let's lift head, neck, and shoulders. Keep your head, neck, and shoulders lifted, belly button drawn down, and then let's just take the feet as down as far as I want to go without your back lifting. And exhale to lift. Inhale, lengthening your toes towards the floor, just till you get to where your back wants to lift. Exhale, back up. Really mindful of your spine down to the floor. Here too, steady and slow. And one more. Releasing head, neck, and shoulders down. Belly button hugs back towards the mat. We can just take a little shake of your hips, loosening up for a moment. Got 2 more core exercises on your back before we move on. This time again, palms are going to be on the ground, lengthening down towards your heels. Again, we're going to pick up head, neck, and shoulders. This time, let's keep your chin tucked. You're going to just look down through your legs. And then we're going to just take a little tick-tock. So right hand reaches down past your right foot and other side. Here as well, mindful of low back on the mat, closing that space this time side to side between the bottom of your ribs and the top of your hips. One more each side. And let's release down. One more core exercise. This one is 1 on each side. So we actually, technically it's 2, I guess. Crossing your left leg over your right. And then maybe here you get the double cross. With this, let's really hug your inner thighs together, even hugging your knees together, hugging your ankles together. And we'll lift the legs. And let's wrap your left leg, your left arm underneath your right arm. We'll inhale here, touching toes to the floor, maybe touching fingertips to the floor. Exhale, lifting head, neck, and shoulders. We'll do 5 of these on each side. Very powerful exercise. You don't need to do a lot. Keep that hug, everything hugging and wrapping into your center line. Last one. Let's unwrap. Open up for a moment. Soles of the feet can touch, knees open wide, arms cactus. Let's just take a big breath in here. Exhale through your mouth. And we'll go to the other side. So knees come together. Right leg wraps over your left. We'll take the double wrap, and then we'll wrap right arm under your left, taking the double wrap there as well. Mindful that your whole spine is on the mat. We'll inhale and exhale, head, neck, and shoulders lift, elbows find the knees. 1, 2, 3, exhaling as you lift. 4 and 5. Let's unwrap, lengthening arms overhead, lengthening your legs long, pointing the toes, reaching the fingertips away, lifting the heart. And then we'll hug the legs in. Maybe if it works for you, take a little rock just to rock yourself up to a seat. And once you get to a seat, we're actually going to flip over onto hands and knees. Hands planted right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. Here too, just like when we were on your back, your belly button wants to hug up towards your spine. You can even find that hug of low ribs towards your upper hips. Keep that strength in your spine. And then let's send your right leg back. You can come to the toes of your right foot. And we'll lengthen your left hand forward. Let's take an inhale here. And then with an exhale, lifting your hand and your foot just so they come to shoulder, hip width. Inhale, planting down. Exhale to lift. So as you move, maybe your belly wants to drop down and lift back up. Let's try and prevent that. Let's keep it as strong and as stable and as straight as possible. You're knitting the muscles of your belly together. This exercise is also knitting the muscles of your back together. One more on this side. And then we'll come back to hands and knees. Let's take a moment pressing back into a child's pose. Inhale here through the mouth. Exhale through the nose. Let's come back up onto hands and knees. Finding that straight, strong core. And we'll send the left leg straight back behind, lengthening the right arm forward. Inhaling here and exhale to lift. Inhale to touch down. Exhale to lift. Don't let loose with that hug around your spine. Sometimes you can get distracted with your movements and then forget the deep stability. Let's take one more. And then come to hands and knees. You're going to grab your strap if you have it. And then just quickly wrap it, draw it up over both legs, and then bring it so that it's right above your knees. And we'll come back onto hands and knees. I'm going to do everybody's favorite, the fire hydrants. We'll start on the right side. So you want same exact alignment as we were. Shoulder, hands right underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips, belly wrapped, spine straight. Keep that as you start to lift your right knee out to the right. We'll do 10 on each side. Pressing out from the outside of your hip, outer glute, and even from that outer knee. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. take a moment pressing into a child's pose before we lift up to do the other movement on this side. We're going to stay on the right side. This time, you're going to draw your right knee into your chest and then press the heel out, pressing it strong. Squeezing your belly up, squeezing your glute as you press back. Inhale, drawing in, and exhale, press it back. Two more. And here's the last one, nice and strong. And we'll come to hands and knees. And let's go straight to the other side. So we'll start to lift your left knee out to the left and back down. These lateral movements with your hips are so important. Not a movement that you do like naturally a lot in your kind of everyday world, or that anybody does. I'm not just saying you. But it is so important for balance, for core strength, to keep those big muscles on the outside of your legs just as strong. Let's take the last one. And then we'll go straight to the kick back. So left knee into the chest, and then pressing it back. Pressing out through your heel as you press back. Feeling as much as you can here. For activating your glute as well as your hamstring. So as your heel presses away, finding that squeeze of your glute. Last one. And then I'm going to roll. I'm going to come on to one side with your elbow just underneath your shoulder. Your knees are bent and stacked. You can take your upper arm to just behind your head, elbow reaching for the sky. We're going to take an inhale to lift the hips and an exhale to open the knees. We'll inhale all the way down, and then let's just take one long, swift exhale to lift all the way through. Inhale down and exhale to lift. So as you press up, you will engage the outsides of your waist. But just here too, just like basically every exercise we do, keeping your glutes engaged is key. And we'll do one more. Staying on your elbow, let's lengthen the legs out. And we'll lift the hips. And then maybe that's too much, and maybe you want to keep your bottom leg down, and that's totally fine. We're just going to come to an isometric hold wherever you can be. We'll take 2 more breaths. And let's lower down. We'll go straight to the other side. So let's just swing the legs around. And then plant your other elbow right underneath your shoulders. Hips stacked, knees stacked, feet stacked. We'll use an exhale to lift all the way through, knee lifts. And inhale all the way down. moving with a lot of intention and purpose. Even though this isn't a very long workout, just making the most of the time that you have by putting as much as you can in to everything. Last one, let's lift. And then we'll lengthen the legs. Again, we're going to come to an isometric hold in a forearm side plank. So maybe you start with a knee down. Eventually, maybe you work to holding both knees up, being mindful that you're being safe through your core, through your spine. 2 breaths. And let's release all the way down. We're going to come onto your back. You can just stay on this side. You can keep the strap just where it is. We'll take hands, palms down alongside your body. And then with an inhale, we'll lift the hips. Let's start to do some little pulses with your knees out to the side. You want to keep your hips pressing up as much as you can. Keep your glutes engaged. Two more. Let's take a moment, lower all the way down, release, shake it out. And we're going to end with some classic glute bridges. So inhale, let's draw the hips so that they're halfway up. Let's take a moment here, fingers spread wide, rooting into your feet. And then with an exhale, we'll press the hips all the way up. And inhale, halfway down. Seeing as you press your hips up and squeeze your glutes, if it can be just the glutes, if you can kind of see about loosening up in your hamstrings, those big muscles below your glutes that always want to take over the job. And last time, pressing the hips up. Let's release down. Gonna hug knees in and slip the strap off. Let's take knees into the chest. Take a little rock from side to side. Reaching hands through between your feet, catching a hold of the outer edge of your feet, or maybe catching hold of your toes. Drawing heels in towards your groin, knees opening to the side. Take a moment here. With all of these stretches at the end of this video, on days where you have a little bit more time, pause and stay in these ending stretches as long as you can. And just as we make the most out of strengthening, getting building muscle, getting stronger, also make the most out of softening. Let's draw the soles of the feet up to the sky, finding happy baby. Take a rock from side to side. Coming back to a steady breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Stick soles of the feet to the floor. Crossing left ankle on your right knee. Threading your left hand through, interlacing your fingers and hugging knees into the chest. 2 breaths here. And then switching sides. And like I said, pause the video, Stay as long as you like in any of these stretches. Make some new stretches for yourself if you have the time. Releasing soles of the feet to the floor. Lengthening arms up and overhead. One last time, sending your legs long. And then we'll sweep hands alongside the body. Heels turned in, toes turned out. Taking full gratitude for this time you've had, this time you have given yourself to practice. And again, stay here as long as you can, even if there's a 10-month-old climbing over you while you do it. Give your body a little bit of time to integrate the work that you have done. Whenever you're ready to move on, come up to sit just for a moment. Knees crossed, hands to your heart. So much gratitude to yourself for this time you've taken to be with yourself and work on yourself in strength and in wellness. Thank you.